What's up everyone, Cam here, and today I'm with my friend Samantha Skelly.
Hello, what's up
founder
guys?
Of Hungry for Happiness, hungryforhappiness.com.
Hungryforhappiness.com, that's it.
So Sam is one of my best friends in the world, and Hungry for Happiness is essentially game quitters, but for emotional eating, binge eating, and eating disorders. And so it's been interesting because I met Sam a couple years ago in Dallas, and whenever we were talking, we always felt like, even though she talks about kind of eating and I talk about gaming, the similarities are very, very similar. Like they're essentially the same thing. It's just one is eating and one is gaming.
That's it, yeah.
So I wanted to bring Sam on today to just share a bit about the work that she does, and specifically for us to talk about how to avoid binging, right? Because this is something that happens, you know, especially if you're in college, maybe you don't game for the semester, maybe you're not gaming a lot, and then you're on break and now you're binging for like 16 hours a day for weeks and weeks and getting back off track. So Sam, just tell us a bit about yourself and Hungry for Happiness.
What's up guys? So yeah, Cam is exactly right. At the end of the day, the reasons why these behaviors are happening is they're very similar, a lot of the same things. So I specifically work with women, and we're gonna be working with men soon, to stop using food as a drug to numb the emotion that you're feeling in your body. So often we have this emotion that's coming up and it's overwhelming and it's stressful. And in order to gap out or numb out, you just go to the kitchen and you have like Ben and Jerry's and you just eat it and eat it and eat it. And that temporarily shifts the state of your body. But right after you finish eating it, not only do you have the emotion that you initially were dealing with, but then you also have the shame and the guilt of like, why did I do that? I have no willpower. And oftentimes the women that I work with, they binge eat and then they diet, and then they binge eat and then they diet. So they restrict their food and then they go on a heavy binge, because binge eating is just a physical reaction to deprivation. So what I teach women to do is to become intuitive, to get back in their bodies, to learn how to deal with the emotion so they don't have to use food as a drug, and they have the tools and the strategies to be able to deal with this overwhelming emotion so they don't get knocked on their bum with food.
And so you guys will resonate a lot with this, because ultimately what we talk about day after day after day is becoming more aware of what's going on, right? So if you're feeling cravings, cool, like you're feeling them, and being aware of that is very important for you to shift the behavior if you don't just want to go back and game, right? Or if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling depressed, or even why you game in the first place, to escape, to socially connect, to see measurable growth, and to feel a sense of purpose. Identifying those needs and being aware of that now gives you the power to make new decisions. So I guess my question for Sam is, how do you get more in tune with what you're feeling?
So I think for me, because the reason why I do this, of course, the reason why Cam does what he does is because we both went through the struggle, right? So we're actually speaking from experience. And for me, it was really confusing to identify what my emotions were. It was this like chaotic mess, and it was overwhelming, and so it was easier for me just to like push away and disconnect and not entertain what was going on. So in order to actually get through this, we have to really realize, what are you actually hungry for? What is the emotion that you're actually hungry for? And so it's really important for me, I used to speak it out. Like, right now I am feeling this. I'm experiencing this. And knowing that all of the emotion and all the stuff that is happening in my body is not actually me. It's not me. It's just something I'm experiencing. I'm just holding the emotion. And I can shift that emotion. I can think differently, to feel differently, but I have to know what's going on. So for me, I was like, I'm feeling really not lovable, or I'm feeling like I'm not worthy, or I feel like I'm not deserving. Okay, interesting. And then I shifted into curiosity. Interesting. Okay, that is real for me right now. I'm not feeling worthy. Why is that? And so just creating that dialogue, and rather than fighting and enforcing it and pushing it away, you open up the door of like compassion and curiosity and love, and like, let me inquire about what is going on right now.
Exactly, and whatever is coming up is okay, right? Just like Sam said, you don't have to identify with it. It's not you, it's something that you're experiencing. But when we're identifying with it, that causes us to resist it. And when we resist it, that creates more tension. And more tension does what? It makes us want to release it. And the easiest way to release it is to give in and go back in game, or to go watch porn, or to just go browse the internet and just get away from it, because the tension that we're feeling gets so intense that we have to try to get away with it. Right? And so after you kind of identify what you're feeling, which is step one, becoming more self-aware, speaking it out, journaling about it, identifying it, what would you suggest next?
Okay, so for food and for gaming, what your body actually wants is a state change. It wants a state change. It wants to feel something different, right? So that's why you know for certain, as soon as you hop on the gaming system or you eat a plate of brownies, your state is going to change. So how can we change our state in a more positive way and start to really identify what feels good for you? So for me, bubble baths with a good magazine and a cup of tea was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I used to also just put my headphones in and go for a walk in nature. When I connected with nature, I felt expansive. I felt free. I felt like, like liberated. And I no longer felt tempted by the brownies or the ice cream or whatever it was. So I began, and dancing as well. Movement. When we change our physiology, we change our emotions. And so that's such a sure way of doing it. You know the feeling after you like do 10 burpees or go for a yoga class, after you move your body, you feel so different. So identify like what are those quick fix things that we can do right away to be able to shift our state so we're not on the verge of a binge or
like a relapse or something. So for me, basketball is a big one, right? Like that's one of the easy wins for me. Just go play a game of basketball, just go grab a ball, shoot it around, listen to some music. Surfing, obviously, especially just because if I'm in the water, I'm instantly gonna feel different because I'm in the ocean and I'm getting wet and it's maybe cold and like I'm gonna feel different. Working out, obviously, going to yoga, obviously, but I can also just call a friend, right? I can call my parents. I can talk to someone who, like Sam, you know, I can just call her up and we can just have a conversation, and from just speaking and feeling her energy, that can help shift my energy too. But the important part to remember is what you desire, what you truly want, is to feel different. So how can you feel that way, right? It's not having to continue to hold on to whatever emotion you're feeling, and instead you can shift it by literally shifting how you physically feel, right? And so step one, identify how you're feeling, and step two, start to shift it. So beyond that, what would you say?
I would say get super clear on how do you actually want to feel. So often we know like, I just don't want to feel like this, I don't want to feel like this, but you've not identified how do you actually want to feel. And what are those emotions? Is it lightness? Is it peace? Is it liberation? Is it contentment? Get super clear on what that feeling is that you actually want to feel in your body, and ask yourself, if I was to feel like this now, what would that feel like? And just by virtue of you focusing on the feeling and giving yourself permission to feel, your energetic state is going to shift. So it's not about running away from what you don't want, it's about focusing on what you do want to attract into your life.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago I was going through a breakup, and for me the purpose behind that breakup was for me to actually apply the things I knew I could apply to help me feel more calm and to truly feel happy. So I did things like meditation and gratitude journals and working out and surrounding myself by more positive people, specifically because that was what research showed me I could actually have results in feeling happy in my life. At the time I was feeling super depressed, so I had the contrast point. I had a reference point of how bad I could feel. So from that I could see actual improvement. Oh wow, today I actually feel really happy. Right? And so whatever emotion you're feeling right now, or whatever emotion you're feeling in the future, that's a reference point to help you identify what else do you want to feel. But if you don't choose that, then there's a void. And how most people in the world fill the void of when they're not feeling a certain way is by trying to feel any way. And the easiest way to feel anything is to be stressed. Right? Stress allows you to feel something, so at least you feel something and you feel alive. So if you're not clear on how it is that you want to feel, then your body naturally is going to just find ways to be stressed so you feel something.
That's it.
Right? And so escaping into gaming, escaping into eating might numb your emotions temporarily, but you can only do that for so long. Getting really clear on how it is that you want to feel, those positive emotions you want to feel, and then aligning your behavior with what creates that, that's really where the magic happens. So I definitely love those 3 steps.
Yeah.
Identify how you're feeling right now. What's step 2?
State change.
State change. I just like went blank. State change. And number 3, get really clear on how it is that you want to feel, and then do things every single day that will naturally help you feel that way. I go work out now before I feel a craving or before I feel bad, because that naturally helps me feel good, and that keeps the binging or the cravings away, right? So getting really clear is super important. So Sam, where can people find more about you, and where can they reach out?
My YouTube channel will be at the bottom here in the show notes or the description, and you can hop over to hungryforhappiness.com. Everything's on there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we talk about you guys all the time. We've had so many conversations about this community, and I'm really excited. I think Sam has so much wisdom to offer you guys. So definitely go check out her stuff, especially if you struggle with something like eating, or you're just more interested in identifying more about compulsive behavior, addictions, changing habits, living a great life. Sam is a great resource, so follow her on Instagram, all that stuff. And thanks so much for being here.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.